What is up, everybody? It's KamTendo. Welcome to my trailer analysis for the second trailer for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. So I am super excited to get into this. There won't be a comment of the day or a question of the day because I just want to dive in deep, go into this, and just tell you guys what you've missed, what you haven't seen, what you have seen, and just I'm really enjoying this. So if you guys want to see more content, just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's dive into it. So the trailer first starts off with us in our bedrooms as the female trainer. If you look to the side, you can see a Drifloon sticker, an Applin sticker, and a Hatena sticker. And then it shows us running out of our rooms at around 6, and you can see the gorgeous detail on the flowers. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the flowers look amazing. And then it shows us running to what I believe to be the professor's laboratory, and you can see here that we have branching paths. I don't know if these paths will take you straight to a lab and other one takes you outside of the town, but it is nice to know that there are branching paths. Then we get our first look at the Pokémon Centers, which I believe to be more or less versions of the Pokéstops from that of Pokemon Go. They do look eerily similar in appearance, but if you look on the display, you can see shoes. So we can, take this and say that you can buy clothes from these shops as well as items and of course your Pokemon because they are Pokémon Centers. Next, we get to see the big building from the first trailer, and this is confirmation. I know there's been speculation that this may be the Pokemon League, a gym of sorts, but it seems like this building is our school building, as seen here with the two emblems being the grape and the orange emblems being in front of the big building. So I just thought that was really cool because when we first saw the trailer, we assumed that that building from the first trailer that we now know as Professor's Laboratory was the school, but apparently it's not. It's the Professor's Lab, and the school is in the big city from the first trailer. We are greeted by the logos, and then it goes to introduce us into our two professors, Professor Sada and Professor Turo. And this may be the first time in Pokemon history, as far as I've known, that the professors aren't named after trees. Apparently there is a Sada tree, but there isn't a Turo tree. The words come from the Spanish words of past and future, being pasada and futuro. I probably butchered those names, but I just figured that was something nice to mention. And another thing is that this is the first time that we have gotten version exclusive professors. I don't think that's ever been a thing. We've had version exclusive gym leaders, version exclusive rivals, but not professors. So I think this is a nice logical step for them to take. I don't know if the other one will appear in the other version, but it is nice to see that we are getting more version exclusivity. Professor Sada is of course wearing past clothes. She is wearing an entire cave woman vibe, while Professor Turo is wearing a more futuristic vibe, and he looks like he's gonna basically turn into Iron Man at any moment. I think they look really cool. Of course, if I were to choose between these two, I am Professor Turo all the way. He's dripped out, he has the cut, shave, everything. So anyways, our next shot, we're greeted to the starters finally debuting in 3D, and I'm not gonna lie, it is really weird seeing them in 3D since we were so used to only seeing their pictures for the past 3 or 4 months. So we're finally seeing them in 3D. Of course, they're all showing off their things. Apparently on a website it says that Sprigatito can calm you down with the aroma of its fur, which I know we've already had memes of it being a 420 cat, but if that doesn't give you any more vibes, I don't know what does. Next we have Quaxley swaying its hair, majestic. Then we have Fuecoco being very, very, very adorable, being happy to see an orange. I think that's really funny. Then the next shot, we are greeted to the rival of our game, Nemona. The website describes her as having an undisputed skill in battle, although it seems that she's not the best at throwing Pokeballs, which I think is really funny because Pokemon Go has been such a big staple in the series up until this point, and now we're going back to having just a rival who's all about battle. She can't catch Pokemon, but she's really good at fighting. I think that's really good. And also, something really fun to point out, she is the first main female rival that isn't the opposite gender of which you don't choose. Every main rival that isn't the opposite gender has always been a male up until this point, and she is our first main female rival. I think that's amazing and a huge step up for Pokemon, because we've had Hal, Hop, Berry, Hugh, Charon, and Silver, Blue, just all of these rivals being our main guy pal, and now we have a main gal pal pretty much, and I think that's awesome. Next, it shows that Nemona has an arm guard on her, and this has been debated. It's either to help her throw better, since it says she can't throw Pokeballs, or it could be the game's gimmick, which I hope that we all aren't wearing this really cool. I mean, it is cool, but I really hope we all don't have to wear that for the gimmick. But if you look on it, it does have kind of like a screen to it, so she definitely is using the gimmick of the region, which I think is really cool that she's using it off the bat. So yeah, it says Nemona sends out 3 Pokemon of her own. The first one is, of course, Pawnee. Pawnee is the Pikachu clone of the game and is a pure electric type. The website describes Pawnee's claws as acting as electricity discharging organs on its forepaws. And one of my followers and good, subs of the channel, great fan, Ali V8 Nia, if I said your name correctly, I'm really sorry, says that its arms act as defibrillators that we have, IRL for ambulances and stuff, and I think that's a really cool thing to point out, so shout out to Ali for that. Behind Nemona, there is a Pokestop. The Pokestop has a Quillfish next to a wheel. I think Quillfish may be the mascot of a wheel company in this game, but there's no proof to back that up. I just think it's really cool that he is, of course, there and on the screen, and of course, Hisuian Quillfish will be available in this game through Home in the future, so it does make sense that Quillfish, along with other Hisuian variants of like the original variants, are available in this game. So the Hisuian variants are also available. I am expecting Pokemon such as Basculegion, White Stripe, and regular Scyther and Ursaring to also be in the game, and I expect their evolutions to be accessible in this game without Home, because those aren't Hisuian variants. Those are straight up pure evolutions of those Pokemon that existed a long time ago that humanity just seemed to have forgotten about. And I think it will be really cool with the whole past and future aesthetic that's going on, that we are able to obtain these Pokemon through current day means rather than transferring from Home. I'm not expecting the same for the other Pokemon, but that is possible due to the whole past and future aesthetic going on. Nemona comments on how she'll go easy on us because it's our first battle, which of course lets us know that she is our senior classmate and we may be a new student in this region. We probably moved from another region, similar to Gen 3 and 7, how our trainer isn't natively from the region, but we are the new kid in town getting into our journey. We are then greeted by the usual Power of Science is Amazing guy, who drops the biggest bombshell in the series, that of course co-op is now an official feature in Pokemon, which we had a bit of a taste in that in Let's Go, where we can shake the Joy-Con and a separate character will appear and we can play the game together with them, but it was very limited on the fact that the co-op trainer can only go as far as us. In this game, as soon as the co-op begins, we are free to split apart as seen here with the trainers fighting in separate directions. We can take on the gyms apparently in any order we want to, but we are also greeted by probably the most disappointing thing in the trailer, in my personal opinion, is that when it goes to show the 4 trainers running in 4 separate directions, the Pokemon begin to walk with them, and the Pokemon seem to retain that exact same walking speed as shown in Pokemon's Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. To a lot of people, myself included, this has been a letdown, but gameplay footage isn't final. This does have a possibility of course, being changed. The trainer then cuts to reveal several returning Pokemon, being that of the Fletchling line, which we see Talonflame later in a trailer, and of course we see Flaffy. We're then introduced to another new Pokemon called Smoliv. Smoliv is a grass normal type that is described as it has a bitter tasting liquid. It's not suitable for human consumption and it prefers dry climates. In the distance we can see another Pokemon Center / Pokestop in this shot, and I think that goes to show that these will be more common than we think in the overworld. And I saw some people sad because they hope that all the Poke Centers don't look like this. But personally, if you remember in the first trailer, we did see a normal Pokemon Center in the big city. So I'm pretty sure these Pokemon Centers are only going to be reserved for the open world setting and not in cities and towns that we will experience throughout the region. The trailer proceeds to catch Smoliv with a critical capture, and I know this doesn't really confirm anything, but it's nice to know that critical captures are, of course, back in this game. One thing I noticed while writing the script for this is that when a trainer throws out the Pokeball, they are wearing two separate items. They're wearing a glove that has a orb on it that looks eerily similar to a keystone, and they're wearing a watch that has something on it as well. And the watch resembles what Nemona is wearing in her design. So could Mega Evolutions be returning, or are both of these connected to the gimmick of the region? Next we see a male trainer running and meeting our third new Pokemon, Lechonk, which is an amazing name by the way. Lechonk is a pure normal type Pokemon. It is described as having a strong sense of smell and can eat only the most richest of berries. Its body is made up of pure muscle despite its appearance, which I think it's really funny. Next, it transitions into a battle where we get a first look at the game's UI. It carries over the enemy having its HP directly under it, like from Pokemon Legends Arceus. UI seems to be simplistic, similar to that of Let's Go, which is a nice change of pace compared to Sword and Shield and BDSP's more heavy, clunky UI. The check status has been changed to the bottom center instead of being above the battle icon like it used to be, and the player's Pokemon has been changed to the side rather than below it like it was before. The camera angle now has a little yellow border next to it whenever it moves around, which I think it was like that back in the gym battles back in Sword and Shield, where the Rotom will be flying around the arena, and it seems that when a move is selected or when the enemy uses a move, the two camera borders begin to disappear. The player character is running to a youngster. Behind the youngster, we see several Flabébé floating around. The trainer himself is very interesting because he is wearing a Turo shirt. However, the Tauros doesn't look like the Tauros we know. The Tauros has one eye visible and it looks to be very upset, which Tauros normally is, but that's kind of just a Gen 1 thing. If the rumors have anything to say about this, this could be a evolution or a regional variant of the Tauros that we know and love from Generation 1. The youngster has another returning Pokemon, being the Chudo line, which is nice to see that Gen 8 Pokemon are being represented more, because it doesn't feel like Gen 8 was that long ago. So to some people that skipped out on Sword and Shield, this may be their first look at Gen 8 Pokemon, and they might think of them as Gen 9 Pokemon. I think that's kind of funny to me. We get another taste at more co-op. The female player is waiting for the male player who's leaving the Pokemon Center, and if you look, we can see that there is a blue shop icon, a red healing icon, and a green icon. If you don't know what the green icon is, a safe bet would be that it's like customization. We see benches and chairs all around there as well, meaning that for world building sake, this is just a place where people go to just rest up and chill. The player begins to initiate a trade. Between it is a Larvitar and a Bagon, which is nice to know that Bagon is back. We knew that Larvitar was back from the first trailer when we saw them walking around in a cave, but it's nice to know that Bagon is back. So we have two returning pseudo legendaries. That's pretty cool. It seems that the trades can happen in the overworld across the region at random points. Judging by the animation, we aren't going to be moving to a separate screen for this. The trade Pokemon thing might just appear over us, which makes it way faster instead of us being sent to a separate screen. We cut to the trainer running through a field where Venonat is, and for those that don't know, this is the first time since Generation 2 or Heart and Gold Soul Silver where Venonat has been available in a regional dex outside of that of Kanto, and I think that's actually really funny. A friend pointed that out to me. I had no idea that was actually a thing, but Venonat had apparently not appeared in a regional dex since Kanto, like Gen 1 and 2, so Gens 3 through 8, we just never saw Venonat in a regional Pokédex at all. That's pretty funny. So we cut to the trainer running through a cave where we see some Colossal walking around. There's also a torch that can be seen in the distance, so it's safe to assume that we can't travel there. I really hope we don't go back to the whole decoration thing that's been happening in recent Pokemon games where you can see it in the distance but you can't go to it. Hopefully, since this is an open world game, that limitation is gone and we can actually see and go to it. Of course, out of bound areas don't count. We see the character running through a beach. There we can see Toxapex and we can see what I believe to be a shoulder. It's kind of hard to notice it, but if you zoom in you can see that there is a little purple Pokemon walking around, and I'm pretty sure that's a shoulder. In the field we see Cryogonal. We then cut to a Gengar using Shadow Ball, a Lurantis using what I believe to be Petal Dance, and a Talonflame using Flare Bits. We cut to an area where we see what I believe to be a Sunflora. We also see a symbol that is vaguely similar to that of a gym symbol from that of Gens 5 and 6. We of course had a different symbol for Generation 8 and Gen 7 and half gym, so this does seem to be a version of a gym symbol. It might be exclusive to this region because they might want to branch out. Of course, different places, different aesthetics, different culture, so different gym angles. But I do think that this is a gym symbol, which we can assume that gyms are back in this game. But yeah, this is a green gym area. There is a windmill here, so maybe this is a gym area that is near the windmills from the first trailer. Another thing to point out is that the gym seems to be outdoors this time around, which does make sense given that this is an open world area. They might want the gyms to just be accessible from day one, them being seamless. They're just in the open area and we can take them on at any time. But one thing to point out from this is that the gym has a whole crystallized aesthetic going on around it, where the top half is red. We'll come back to that later. It might relate to the gimmick. We see flags with a fire symbol. It's safe to assume that this may be our fire type gym leader, and it has a star symbol separate from the symbol that we saw from the green gym. We don't have much to go off of, but I do believe that this is a fire type gym leader of some sort. We then cut to a scene of what is assumed to be a desert area with a lamppost that is moving. Something is moving underground. It might be a Diglett maybe, or it could be a new ground type Pokemon, but this area is lumped together with the other areas, so it is safe to assume that this may be an outdoors ground or rock type gym. Of course, we don't know that, but time can tell. Finally, the trailer cuts to a shot of the female trainer and Pikachu looking over the horizon in a trademark open world pan, like Breath of the Wild, Legends Arceus, and even Sword and Shield did it to a certain extent, but we all know how that played out. And of course, everything after that is purely cutscene, so there really isn't much to analyze. So that will be it for my trailer analysis for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, our second trailer. If you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And also, is there anything that I might have missed? Make sure to comment it down below. My name is KamTendo, and I will see you guys when I see you. Bye.